The Ice Cream Blonde, a dame known for her stunning beauty, sharp comedic timing, and unforgettable roles in films alongside legends like Buster Keaton and Laurel and Hardy, Thelma Todd's rise to fame in the 1920s and 30s was nothing short of meteoric. But behind her dazzling career and sparkling persona, there lay a life marked by secrets, scandals, and one of the most baffling deaths in Hollywood history. In this episode, we'll explore the extraordinary life of Hollywood's doll, Thelma Todd. From her humbling beginnings in Massachusetts to her iconic Hollywood stardom. And of course, we'll dive deep into the mysterious circumstances surrounding her untimely death in 1935. Was it a tragic accident, or was it all applesauce? Join us as we unravel the enigma of Thelma Todd's life and legacy, today on Death in Entertainment.
Live from Los Angeles.
911, what is your emergency?
Here in Hollywood now.
2 counts of murder,
Injury and death.
Oh my God!
Shocking new details.
that has stunned the entertainment world.
This makes me a little nervous.
The hair stood up on my arms.
Just like in the movies.
What do you call this thing anyway?
Death.
In entertainment.
Greetings, Deado Universe.
Hi, everybody.
What's going on?
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, for you, I'm so happy for you.
You know, I was wondering about that, so
Yeah.
it's great to get that update.
What's up, everybody? My name's Kyle Plouffe,
And I'm Alejandro Dowling.
and we are going back to the 1900s, if you can believe it.
Oh, the 20th or 21st century.
20th century.
The 20th century.
Yeah.
Like the 20th century Fox.
Me good at math.
Well, you know, I just jumped in here after looking for parking.
Yes,
I'm a little
exactly.
frazzled. It's like I'm on opium like they were in the 1920s.
Yeah.
Very apropos.
Roaring 20s. We are going back to the early 20s when Hollywood was just a wee little infant.
Isn't that incredible? The city is not that old.
It's pretty insane for the amount of corruption and amount of success that this city has had. It's very young.
And that's the way the industry likes them.
Very young. And tragically, the tale of Thelma Todd, which is what we are talking about today.
Of course. I'm sure she's your favorite actress.
She's one of the best from this era.
Yeah, I'm talking to the audience.
Yes.
Everyone has heard of her, I'm
Everybody's
sure.
seen every Thelma Todd movie out there. What you probably do know her from is her tragic death when she was found, possibly unalived.
Oh, no.
By her hands or by somebody else's, we will solve this thing once and for all tonight, because we have been told that it's unsolved, but I feel like it has been solved.
Really?
Yes.
We've solved a few of them, actually,
Yeah.
in the last year that were supposedly unsolved.
You go anywhere else, it says unsolved.
Yeah,
You come to Death in Entertainment, we figure it out for you.
it's true.
Yeah.
And I just want to say that before we go any further, this is a true crime comedy podcast.
Yeah.
So we might make a couple of jokes.
Yeah. We're here to laugh and learn.
We're not going to employ the Hays Code as Hollywood did
Right.
in the 1930s when Thelma Todd was working.
Yes.
And we're going to get a little frisky.
Yeah.
So if that ain't your bag, go see another movie.
Yes. Go to another garage, because we're going to this one
Ooh.
right now. Thelma Alice Todd was born on July 29th, 1906.
We're having a rough go of it so far.
1906 to John Shaw Todd and Alice Elizabeth Edwards. Her father was, he was a handy guy. He was an upholsterer from Ireland.
As in handyman or
Well,
a womanizer?
both.
Oh.
No, he wasn't a womanizer. He's actually a good guy. He was an upholsterer. He, upholstered things,
Uh-huh.
as in furniture, I'm assuming.
Not like Ed Gein.
I would hope not.
with actual materials
Yeah.
that weren't living.
Yeah, he came to the U.S. and settled with his family in Lawrence, Massachusetts.
Oh, so this is from your neck of the woods.
We're going back to Boston, baby.
Is Lawrence near Boston?
It's 21.6 miles north of Boston.
Okay, so yeah, it's very close.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like
decently close.
Oshkosh to my Fond du Lac.
Sure.
A couple of people might get that reference.
Oshkosh bagosh.
Oh my gosh.
Is that where they came up with the jeans?
Duh.
Hello. Okay.
No, that was Oshkosh, Switzerland.
Her father actually, he was a mover and a shaker, man. So he was doing, what you would assume to be blue collar work, and then actually ended up becoming a prominent local figure by becoming the superintendent of streets. I know. I had to look it up. So
I know schools have one.
yes, apparently the streets be needing some superintendents too.
The streets.
A superintendent of streets is a government official responsible for overseeing the maintenance, construction, repair of public streets.
It sounds made up, like the mayor of the Sunset Strip.
The governor of plumbing.
So this was real. Like he was in charge of
This
those
was real.
things.
It essentially he was like the head of the Department of Public Works.
Got it. They just slapped a different name on it. later
Yeah.
on.
He was managing street paving, snow removal, sidewalk repairs, traffic signal upkeep. They
All the fun stuff.
yeah. It was also reported that he became an alderman in Lawrence, Massachusetts, which we're talking about 1906 here. So there's a lot of old terms. But I also had to look this up. And essentially, that just means you're a councilman. And he became one of the top political leaders in town.
Wow. In Lawrence.
Yes. So it's clear he knows how to work a room and ascend in a system. Something that his daughter may have inherited from him. We don't yet know. Yeah. Her mother, Alice, was an immigrant from Canada. And it's reported that she is the one that kind of planted the seeds of wanting more and chasing the glitz and the glamour.
So that's why they went to Lawrence.
Yes. So she may end up on the shit list at some point.
No.
Yeah. It's rare that the mom, when they're in a marriage, is like the worst of the two. We've had a lot of bad dads. I guess there's been some bad moms too.
There's been a ton of bad moms. We just had a bad mom last week with Jonathan Brandis.
Yeah, that's true.
The momagers, hello.
Yeah. But she was more behind the scenes. She was just more of like a needling mother to be like, you go do what you got to do.
Not a momager, though.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, because she had agents and managers and producers and all that stuff.
Yeah, you would think most kids would be smart enough to just go to the real people that do that.
But then you'd think the mom, they might have some savvy and they think, they don't want someone else to take advantage of their kid.
No, please. They don't want someone else to take advantage of their money bag.
Hey, there we go.
Well, anyway, so this is good so far.
Yes.
Thelma. Well, actually, I don't know much about Thelma so far.
Yeah. Like I said, Alice, she was from Canada. So this is like one of the earliest iterations of someone with Canadian blood taking over comedy in America, as they usually do.
True. A ton.
Regardless, when Thelma was just 4 years old, her older brother, William, died at the age of 7
Oh, no.
on August 25th, 1910.
But in those days, things were so different. People would just drop dead.
Yeah. Yeah, kids just always.
Like, oh, did you hear about Harry? He was getting the mail and then boom.
He didn't wake up.
His hand was still in the mailbox.
It was said that when she truly became aware of what had happened to her older brother, that she always just wanted to be one of the boys, to kind of be the stand-in for the boy that her parents lost. As she grew up, she was always extremely popular. Funny, quick-witted, beautiful, and smart. She also loved a crowd, which may be why she wanted to become a school teacher. That was like her ultimate goal. She got paid. She would have got
she had high aspirations.
very, yes. Well,
No offense. No, I mean, like, usually in these stories, like, she always wanted to be a dancer.
she wanted to be a star. She would get paid to lead a crowd every day and,
Got it.
have fun. Teach people things.
It just sounds funny when you know her trajectory. It's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Lady Gaga always dreamed of being a Phi Ed teacher.
Yeah. But the world would have other plans. People started to notice she was like abnormally getting attention. Like in high school, her parents wanted her to get a job, So she became a cashier at the local Five and Dime. And there were so many...
Another old term.
Yes. There were so many creeps that showed up just to look at her and talk to her.
Jeez.
That after a while, the store owner had no choice but to fire her because she was a distraction.
That is discrimination.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she could have had a suit this day and age.
Oh, my.
After that, she started doing local beauty pageants.
See, that's a better fit, I think.
Yeah.
If you're fired for being too beautiful, that's the next logical step.
It is, especially if you're her mother being like, look, you got fired, you start getting, some actual attention for money.
And the fact that she is actually attractive, because I'm sure beauty pageants in Massachusetts, it's kind of like in the kingdom of the blind, the man with one eye is king, right?
That is certainly true.
So if you're actually a hottie, like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Thelma Todd going up against a bunch of trash bags. And like, you think I'm hot?
Where you from, honey?
Put your little dick away. You call that a cock? So she ended up at the Elks Lodge 65. She ended up winning Miss Lawrence, Massachusetts. At the local Elks Lodge.
All right.
And
that's as prestigious as Miss Fond du Lac.
It's as prestigious as it gets in Lawrence, Massachusetts. The board of that Elks Lodge ended up telling her they wanted to sponsor her to compete in Miss Massachusetts. She ended up winning Miss Massachusetts.
Wow. Congratulations.
It's big.
Yeah.
It's the best of the worst.
Yeah.
At this time, she was also modeling clothing for a local theater for a man named Napoleon Damara. He ended up sending her photos to the founder of Paramount Studios, Jesse Lasky, who co-founded Paramount Studios with a man named Adolf Zucker.
Okay.
It's never a good look to be in 1920s America with a name like Adolf.
Well, they didn't know that. I mean, this is a decade before.
It was before the rise to power.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
This is the roaring 20s, baby.
Wait, so Adolf was like James back in the day?
Yeah. And Hitler was also a common surname.
Wow.
There are still people with that last name, Hitler. I saw a documentary on it.
That seems like a choice.
I think it's called My Name is Hitler, for real. It's really interesting. Or like that politician that was running, I think, in New York.
Yeah.
Wasn't it Harvey Epstein?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's funny.
You showed me that.
Yeah, on SNL. Yeah, John Mulaney. I'm not either of those guys.
Yeah, so at that point, think about it. Everything is okay. Like, they're doing all these wild drugs. They're drinking moonshine. The economy hasn't blown up yet.
Yeah.
There's no Hitler. There's no World War II.
Right. That is true. So Jesse Lasky, head of the studio, loved what he saw. And it's just a picture at that point. Like, they're not getting film reels or anything because it's just a person off the street pretty much.
Yeah.
And he said he'd save her a spot at the Paramount training studio in Astoria, Queens, New York.
Oh.
Which is where I lived. It's in New York City.
So he made it very convenient for her. Mm-hmm. She didn't have to go to Hollywood yet.
Not yet, because just because you were in the training doesn't mean you get to go to Hollywood.
But still, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't have to travel very far.
Right. So from the Arizona Daily Star, I believe this was written in 1930, they were like recapping her career, and they're talking about the Paramount training studio. And they said the idea of this school was to take one candidate from each section of the country and train them for future screen stardom. A candidate already had been chosen from New England, but so insistent were the Massachusetts exhibitors that the beautiful daughter of one of their political leaders be given a tryout. So they're already using their clout and cachet as political figures.
Oh,
to get her in.
So the dad played a pivotal role.
Yes.
Interesting.
So an exception was made in her case, and arrangements were made to give her a test in the Paramount Long Island studio. But it's not Long Island, it's Queens.
But it sounds like she's got the goods. You know, it's not just like, oh, you know, you should check out my daughter. She can sing.
Yeah.
And it's terrible.
Yeah.
Like, she actually, you know.
She's got some.
And she was kind of like I don't know if class clown is the right term. But she was quite a personality too, wasn't she?
She could be anything.
Because you said she was always getting attention. I imagine she was also like making people laugh.
Yes,
and,
she was funny, quick-witted.
Exactly.
And everyone said she was like one of the guys because she could keep up.
Right.
Like she could give shit.
So that combo plus the beauty, it's like, okay, she's a star, you know?
Exactly. She completed the test, and then Thelma returned home to Lawrence, Massachusetts to await the outcome. So she goes back home, and that's when she wins Miss Massachusetts while she's waiting. The day after she wins Miss Massachusetts, she received word from Paramount executives that she had passed her film test with flying colors and was to report at once for enrollment in the Paramount Training School. It was in this school, which also brought out Charles Buddy Rogers. And while attending the Paramount School, Thelma took part in the class play Fascinating Youth, portraying one of the leading characters. She also appeared in the films God Gave Me 20 Cents and The Popular Sin. Then she was ready for graduation.
God gave me 20 cents.
God gave me 20 cents.
So he's a cheap skate.
4 nickels.
Go buy something nice.
Go buy yourself some more money. But instead of receiving a diploma for her graduation, she was handed one of the leading roles opposite Ed Wynn in the film Rubber Heels.
Wow. I would take that over a diploma.
The role stamped her as a full-fledged screen actress and sent her to Hollywood as a Paramount contract actress.
That's a big deal. And in those days,
oh, it's huge.
You were tied to the studio, of course, but
yes,
they made you a star. They got behind you.
Exactly. So she graduates the program in 1926. She gets a contract with Paramount and starts getting a taste for actual Hollywood. Because at this point, she's getting people showing up goo gaga at the Five and Dime. She's just walking into these beauty pageants and winning.
Yeah.
She's getting exceptions to be able to even try out for the school. She passes it with flying colors. Everything's easy.
Yeah.
So it just seems like doors are opening. You know, I can do no wrong. At this point, now she sees Hollywood's a little not what it portrays itself to be.
You don't say.
In her original contract, it stated her current weight. They made her get on a scale.
No.
And she weighed in at 122 pounds, and they were like, this is what you need to stay at. It was in her contract.
Could you imagine they do that today to somebody?
Oh, my God. I mean, they pretty much do, but it's just
in other ways.
Yeah,
true.
They don't actually put it in writing. If she gained more than 3 pounds or lost more than 6, her contract was subject to termination.
Wow. That's motivation though, to eat healthy, I'm sure.
To eat healthy, well,
like you might lose your career if you have this ding dong.
This contract starts a life of maintaining weight, stress, and energy levels with amphetamines.
Oh boy.
People have said diet pills, but ultimately that's what diet pills really are.
Well, isn't that what Ozempic is, essentially?
I don't think Ozempic is that. Ozempic works differently, but all diet pills until pretty much Ozempic, I believe, because that's like a diabetes drug that controls your pancreas and cravings and stuff. It's a different thing, I think. But until recently, it was always uppers that were used for appetite suppression and energy boosts. And it's rumored that her mother was the one getting her the pills.
Okay.
Being like, you need to stay skinny, honey.
So she's being helpful too.
Well, she's prodding her in the back, being like, get out there on stage.
Literally with a cattle prod.
It was working for her, though. She appeared in over a dozen movies that first year and went right into the talkies as soon as they were available in 1927. So the year after she graduates, boom, put in, over a dozen, 13 movies, and then bang, the next year, they have this whole new technology where you can hear people on film.
You know who did the first talkie?
Chaplin?
Al Jolson.
Oh, mammy.
Jazz singer.
That's the first one?
Yeah.
Wow.
He says, you ain't seen nothing yet. And the audience gasped. That was the first time they heard someone.
But not because of the blackface. It was because they could hear it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, the blackface. That was nothing. Yeah. that wasn't even a blip on the radar for anybody.
Started booing. They're like, boo, make it blacker.
Yeah. I mean, what's sickening is blackface probably lasted another 10 to 15 years after that.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's insane, but let's not lose sight of the achievement here.
Right.
Kyle.
It's a huge thing.
Al Jolson. But anyway, so Thelma Todd, she doesn't have to waste her time doing those stupid silent movies.
No. Now we can hear her.
Like, let's make a real movie over here.
Yeah.
With people talking.
So speaking of Al, she worked with someone that rhymes with Al. She worked with Hal.
Okay. Hal Jolson?
Hal Roach.
Oh, yeah. One of the legends of early Hollywood.
Yes, he was one of the first producers in Hollywood and one of the first producers that she worked with. And he was famous for putting out the Laurel and Hardy films.
Ooh.
So she appeared in several of the duo's films, often playing the beautiful woman who finds herself caught up in the chaos and slapstick comedy between them.
The foil.
Yes. Her presence, they say, added a touch of elegance to the often silly situations. Roach was known for fostering a lighthearted, zany approach to comedy, and Todd's roles fit perfectly within this framework. She had an ability to switch between comedic and dramatic moments, which made her a very valuable asset to Roach's productions.
A jack of all trades.
Yes.
The female version of that.
She's not just a clown.
No.
In addition to their professional connection, there were rumors that Hal Roach and Thelma Todd had a more personal, dare I say, romantic relationship.
Oh.
Some reports from the time suggested that Todd and Roach were very close, and their bond may have extended beyond the confines of work. She was getting worked. Getting that work, you know what I'm saying?
They just call her the Roach Clip. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. Which is something that's occurred multiple times over the course of her career. Of course, I'm talking about having relationships with her bosses, which did very well for her career, but may have prematurely ended her life.
Oh, my God.
We shall see. People were saying that in her personal life, she was being molded by Hollywood's shallow and hedonistic lifestyle.
In the early 30s.
20s and 30s, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because it's weird. It was the era also of, the speakeasies.
Yeah.
The prohibition.
Bootleggers.
Which really didn't really calm the waters all that much. Like, I think the parties were even wilder
Made it
during
worse.
that time.
Yeah. It's how the Kennedys rose to fame and power.
Right. And it's how a lot of people got a lot of money from that, made a lot of money off of that.
Yeah. I looked up 1920s terms, and one of them was giggle juice for booze. You're on that giggle juice.
Oh, and what is giggle juice, though?
Booze.
Oh, just any booze.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, these, and the flappers.
Yep.
The floozies.
Floozies. It's been said that she was an unapologetic party girl.
You know how in all those 20s newsreels, they're like dancing to the Charleston?
Oh, yeah.
And the speed is off and it looks like they're going really fast?
Yeah.
Well, apparently that was normal speed.
Really?
They were just really fucked up.
Nice. I could see that happening because her favorite drink was 3 fingers of whiskey.
And 3 fingers from Paramount.
Oh, boy.
That was her dinner.
Point being, she could turn up with the best of them.
Yes. So she could, what did you say? She was just one of the guys.
Yes, she could drink you under the table, talk shit while doing it.
Oh, my God.
And she's beautiful.
What a dame.
Yeah. Things changed when she met producer and director Roland West. They also had a love affair, even though he was married to a woman named Jewel Carmen.
That's not very cool.
No?
Break up a marriage.
But the wife didn't really care. It's a very odd dynamic, and we'll see more about that.
Oh, okay.
He wanted her to do dramas only. He's like, this silly stuff is stupid. We need you to get away from it. So he's like, I got a plan for you.
Which might have been smart. Actually, I think, the Oscars started, I think, in like 1927.
Oh, okay.
So this sounds like a decent plan if you want to get her an Oscar.
Right. Even still to this day, they don't respect comedy.
True.
So, I mean, if that's the thought process behind it, then I guess I get it.
Yeah.
But he did not. He thought comedies were stupid. They were corny. So he made her change her name to Allison Lloyd to film. Sorry. He made her change her name to Allison Lloyd to star in his film called Corsair, which is like an old name for a pirate. I had to look that up too.
Yeah.
He said
Pirates easier.
Yeah, exactly. Corsairs of the Caribbean. Doesn't have the same ring to it.
Yeah. And stop corsairing all those DVDs.
Yeah, quit corsairing it all, you fuck. He said he didn't want the stench of comedy sticking to her. So she goes back to Hal Roach, and he changes her on-screen name back to Thelma Todd because he was threatening her to have her name changed to Susie Dingleberry for his comedies.
What?
So that the stench of drama didn't stick to her.
It's funny you say stench.
Dingleberry.
It's insane. Susie Dingleberry?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll get her the Oscar.
So not only did she date and pal around with powerful guys, she got them to fight over her.
Yeah.
Which is not a great thing if you don't want drama in your life.
But it could be good if she's trying to get better roles or better contracts.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Of course. Yeah, it makes your value go up, certainly, until it becomes a distraction.
Yeah.
But so far, working out for her.
Yes.
Now, while we don't have the footage of these interactions occurring, we do have a 1991 made-for-TV movie starring Lonnie Anderson as Thelma Todd.
Wow.
Called White Hot, The Mysterious Death of Thelma Todd.
Her life was glamorous, and her death was Hollywood's greatest mystery.
She must have been so frightened.
Lonnie Anderson in a true story, White Hot, The Mysterious Murder of Thelma Todd.
The same guy who did every trailer.
Yeah.
In the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. Thelma went on to meet two of the most nefarious characters in her story. Lucky Luciano and Pat DiCicco.
Mobsters.
No ne'er-do-wells.
Yeah.
Here we have the footage of their interaction from the 1991 made-for-TV movie White Hot, The Mysterious Death of Thelma Todd.
You may remember it from the trailer we just heard.
3 seconds ago. So here she's sitting with Roland and then sees Pat DiCicco come in. And everyone's making a scene, walking around Pat DiCicco. And she's admiring that.
Okay.
My. The seas do part for the privileged few, don't they?
That's power, Roland. Raw power. Wish I could see who it is. Oh my God, it's Pat.
Pat DiCicco couldn't draw a crowd like that if he was handing out $100 bills. Where are you going?
Well, my estranged husband and I seem to find ourselves in the same restaurant. I believe this is what's known as a situation. Far be it from me to be uncivilized about it. Pat, what a nice surprise.
Toddy.
This is John O'Hurley.
Oh, wow.
From Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Playing Pat DiCicco, the mobster, who's also a Hollywood agent and someone that would become her husband in the future. But this is them meeting here.
You look wonderful.
Thank you. So do you. I don't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to say hello.
Oh, wait, there's someone I want you to meet.
Thelma Todd, this is a friend of mine from New York, Charles Lucifer.
This is really Lucky Luciano.
Ah, okay.
Given a...
So he had nicknames, too.
And this is Robert Davi, who's playing Lucky Luciano.
Oh, I know Robert Davi. He's great.
Yeah.
He was he played a Bond villain once.
Oh.
And he was in Cops and Robertsons and Showgirls.
Oh, shit.
Hello.
Deep cuts. All right, this is him.
Miss Todd.
Mr. Lucifer.
I've been looking forward to meeting you. Please join us.
I'd love to. You don't mind?
He insists. I'm sure you're getting tired of hearing this, but you're even more beautiful in person than you are on the screen, which I didn't think possible.
Thank you. You'd be surprised how not tired I am of hearing that.
I suppose my reputation for being drawn to American women precedes me.
I guess the same could be said about me, an Italian man.
DiCicco is Italian. I'm a Sicilian. There's a difference.
Boom.
So they're hitting it off.
Yeah, and he's shitting on DeCicco right in front of him.
So
He's
now
Italian, I'm Sicilian. There's a difference.
she's got gangsters fighting over her now instead of studio heads.
And the person she was originally sitting with was Roland West, who she's having an affair with.
Right.
So she got 3 guys all over her in one table. She really knew how to work it, I guess.
Yeah.
Now, Pat DeCicco, who was just played by John O'Hurley from Seinfeld, which is where I know him the most from, right?
Oh, yeah.
He's been in a ton of stuff.
Yeah, but what could your name off the top of your head besides Seinfeld?
The guy that everyone just shit on in that clip, Roland was saying that guy couldn't draw a crowd if he was handing out $100 bills. And then she sits down and he's like, DeCicco's Italian, I'm Sicilian. Fuck this guy. That dude became her actual husband in 1932.
Wow.
And like I said, he was an agent, producer, screenwriter, director, occasional actor, but he was a self-proclaimed man with underground ties. He essentially was someone who wanted to be a gangster so bad and wanted to,
DeCicco.
Surround himself with the like. Yeah.
Well, Luciano, that's, one of the most famous of the era.
Yes. Ultimately, again, he's someone that helped Thelma's career immensely.
Really? How?
Because he's a agent, director, producer, put her in everything. And he put everything in her.
Oh, fuck.
They were both partiers, drinkers, and cheaters. This obviously ended up making for a toxic relationship.
Oh, yeah. Plus the absinthe.
Yeah.
You need a mobster as an agent, though, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, I think you should think about casting my gal over here, Thelma Todd, in your next movie.
I'd hate for something to happen to you.
Oh, no, we actually already have that cast.
You're not understanding.
We're going with Mae West, sorry. And then cut to him, like, upside down in a tree.
They would routinely get into arguments and physical altercations. Like, she broke his nose, and he hit her so hard in the stomach that she needed to get her appendix removed.
They were so competitive.
Yes. Tit for tat,
That's not tit for tat. Breaking the nose and then Houdiniing her?
Yeah.
No.
How Houdini is rumored to have died. Getting a gut shot, a punch to the stomach so hard that his appendix burst and he died.
Everyone always thinks that, he was like in a straitjacket in the water or something.
Yeah, like drowned during a bad stunt gone wrong.
Yeah.
Nope, he was just punched in the stomach.
Unceremonious.
During this time, she was getting DUIs, crashing into trees, totaling cars. It got so bad that she was actually forbidden by studios to drive again while under contract.
Oh, really? Not the police?
Yeah.
She was pulled over by Paramount officers.
The studios were the police.
Yeah, I guess.
So she was making money at that point, so she hired a full-time chauffeur.
Why doesn't every rich, famous person do this?
They should. Like we talked about in the Henry Ruggs episode, the NFL players all have an NFL players card that has a number of a chauffeur service that they pay no more than like $100 per ride.
Yeah.
And they're all millionaires. Why would you ever step into a car drunk behind the wheel?
It makes no sense. How great would that be to not even have to worry about money?
Oh,
like you just have someone take you back and forth places.
It'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
You can do stuff while you're in the car. Like you don't have to just focus on the road the whole time. It'd be great.
Yeah.
Especially in LA. Ugh.
And in those days, you can just picture how crazy she must have been driving.
Yeah.
Oh,
drunk and out of her mind.
Yeah, without Google Maps.
Their marriage ended up becoming so violent and toxic that she divorced Pat and changed her will to leave him $1 singular dollar.
Well, doesn't California law usually favor the wife anyway?
Yeah. But if she died first, she would like to take care of whoever she married.
I guess.
And if they had kids, she didn't have any, but if they did. But I think $1 is worse than no dollar.
It is.
It's much more of a fuck you.
It is. And this was her first marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe only marriage. I don't know yet.
Only.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because after leaving him, she goes right back to Roland. And they, along with Roland's wife, decide to pool their money together and build Thelma Todd's Sidewalk Cafe on the Pacific Coast Highway in the Palisades between Santa Monica and Malibu, California.
So he forgave her.
Of course.
And the wife didn't care.
The wife doesn't give a shit. It's a weird dynamic they have.
The wife is kind of a cuck.
She must have been getting her own on the side.
Oh.
To be that okay with this starlet coming in and taking her husband away.
Maybe from Hal Roach.
Either that or the husband was so insufferable that she was just like, please spend more time with him. I don't like to fucking hang out with this guy. He sucks. We don't know.
And then you say that the studio intervened and got her the chauffeur service. You know, she's getting preferential treatment.
Well, she was paying for the chauffeur.
Oh.
She was forbade to drive while she was under contract. They were like, you can't ever drive again.
Yeah.
We're not going to be paying you all this money and you're going to just die by crashing into a fucking tree. We're making sure that you hire a chauffeur so that you have someone to drive you everywhere all the time.
So she's worth something to the studio.
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Her movies are profitable, correct?
Yes. Oh, big time.
Because I know her biggest movies were with the Marx Brothers. You mentioned Laurel and Hardy, but around this same time, like the early 30s, I believe 1932, she did Horse Feathers with the Marx Brothers.
Yeah.
And then she also did Monkey Business.
Yes.
But yeah, those were huge comedies, huge movies in general. So she is like a very valuable.
She was making Hal Roach at this time $3,000 a week.
Wow.
Just from the movies that were out with her name on it. So,
which is $3 million today.
Probably more. It's so much money.
Yeah.
We have a clip from Horse Feathers here, actually.
Yeah, you know what? I used to love this movie. I still do, just haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah.
And because, you know, growing up, you always heard about the Marx Brothers. And I'm like, oh, that's black and white.
Old,
that's
who gives a shit.
But when I finally sat down and watched one of them, hilarious.
Yeah.
Groucho Marx is timeless.
Wow.
It's nonstop jokes. It's very entertaining. So this is kind of a football spoof. And in this scene, Groucho is serenading Thelma Todd on a canoe.
Ah.
Everything that ever grew, the goose and the gander and the gosling too, the duck upon the water when he feels that way too says, "Quack, quack, quack." That's a wise quack. You keep your bill out of this. How would you like it if I butted into your affairs and laid an egg?
Laid an egg.
He throws the guitar.
You know, this is the first time I've been out in a canoe since I saw the American tragedy.
Oh, you're perfectly safe, Professor, in this boat.
I don't know. I was going to get a flat bottom, but the girl at the boathouse didn't have one.
Well, you know, Professor, I could go on like this, drifting and dreaming forever. What a day. Spring in the air.
Oh, me? I should spring in the air and fall on the lake?
Oh, Professor, you're full of whimsy.
Can you notice it from there? I'm always that way after I eat radishes.
What's better than that? I mean, what a career.
Yeah.
She can just sit in the canoe with Groucho Marx.
Yeah, he's making her fucking paddle. You know, this is what they were paying her for.
Exactly.
So this Sidewalk Cafe that she came up with, it became the hang of the stars. Like how Jay Sloan's was when Troy Duffy got Harvey Weinstein to buy him a bar.
Okay.
Like Mark Wahlberg was showing up there. Like anybody, the who's who of who's who would hang out at this place.
Or one of those like Chasins where Sinatra and Dean Martin said get dinner.
Exactly.
And Dominic Dunn and his family.
Yeah. So it was a place where, you know, all the stars would show up and then even regular fans would go to get dinner or whatever. And they'd be seeing a host of famous people.
And this is sort of a bridge between Malibu and Beverly Hills in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's right there on the ocean. It is right on the Pacific Coast Highway, which is a very busy area.
Yeah.
And right down the street, just a few miles, is Santa Monica. And that's where, like, I would say one of the biggest tourist destinations of LA is.
Definitely. The pier.
Yeah. Yep, you got the pier, you got all these restaurants. That's where Whitey Bulger even hung out, where he got arrested.
Yeah, that's a great example
Yes.
of the glitz and the glam. The biggest scumbag on earth. You're like, he used to hang out here too.
Yeah, it was all great. So yeah, people would just show up and be like, wow, I get to see Thelma in movies, and then I get to show up, and she's literally being the hostess at this restaurant.
Yeah.
Welcoming people in and taking them to their table.
That is so cool that she did that.
How insane.
Yeah, because that's not very common at all. I mean, there's stars that invest in restaurants.
Exactly.
Like Depp did with the Viper Room.
Yes.
Before River Phoenix said his OD there.
Yeah.
In a drink, or maybe he snorted it.
Yeah.
We'll do a follow-up. But anyway.
It's like going to Flavor Town and Guy Fieri's fucking right there.
There you go.
Being like, hey, get in here.
Right. Yeah, you don't expect him to be there.
No. And that's the point. Like, all these people would they'd slap their names on it, and they're not ever to be seen.
Like in Madison, Wisconsin, I sat down at Cheeseburger in Paradise.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Jimmy, where are you?
Margaritaville.
He had another one called Cheeseburger in Paradise.
Really?
Although Margaritaville would have been funnier for the joke. I digress.
They got a Margaritaville here.
Let's get back to what's her place? The corner shop?
Thelma Todd's Roadside Cafe.
I like it. It's simple.
Yeah. It's like part nightclub, part bar, part restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a lot going on.
Part beach, part dance floor.
Yes, exactly. So people who went there, just the normal Joe Schmo, the schmucks off the street, were in absolute awe that this movie star made herself available not only to the venue, but to the patrons as well.
So we could have gone there and gotten in.
Yes.
See, that's rare. It's rare that she even does this, but it's also rare that there's no list that you have to be on.
Yes, exactly. It had everything there except for the snootiness.
Right.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I credit that to being from Massachusetts, baby.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll give you that one.
I'll mix it up with just about anybody, as long as you're not a piece of shit.
Right.
And that actually comes up in here, too. It's so funny because she actually lived upstairs at the restaurant.
Really?
Yeah. So that's like... She's home, so she might as well mix and mingle with the crowd.
I mean, it's good because it didn't sound like she was doing anything good on the road.
Yeah.
But why would you want to live above a nightclub if you had the choice?
Yeah.
She goes crazy. She's like yelling at herself. Hey, Thelma, keep it down. She runs downstairs. Fuck you.
Starts hitting the ceiling with a broom.
Then she goes back upstairs to grab.
Stomp
to stomp on the broom area.
It's crazy. Like I said, Roland's wife was well aware of the affair that they were having, yet was more than happy to become an equal partner in the restaurant.
Yeah, well, money talks.
She said she was not threatened by their relationship, which, like I said, probably means she was having her own fun.
Or not.
Or not. Like, yeah, you never know. Word was getting out that upstairs, there may have been some illegal gambling going on.
Ooh.
A little bit of card games, a little bit of dice.
Like Molly's game.
Yeah. It's rumored that Lucky Luciano, the mobster we were talking about before, told Thelma that he wanted to put his own gambling operation upstairs. And she told him to beat it.
He's like, we're playing mixed games tonight.
He was very stern with her that he really wasn't asking her. He was telling her. I'm not asking you to put my stuff up there. I'm telling you, we need to put this stuff up there.
Mm-hmm.
And she was stern right back, saying she wasn't going to have his operation at her venue. Because he was pitching it like, hey, you got a bunch of famous rich people there all the time. You know, I could make a little bit of money off of them because I know they're bringing money in, and I could, you know, have the card games, the gambling, whatever.
It makes sense, actually.
It makes sense, but...
Except that it's in her living room now.
Yeah, literally, she's like, I don't want to risk the relationship with my friends because they're stressed out that they owe you money.
True.
When they're coming here just to have fun.
Right, because at that level, it's not a fun poker game.
No. When real money's involved, people get pissed.
Yeah.
To say the least.
I've learned that. It took me a couple years.
She wanted people to come there to have a good time, stress-free.
Right.
It's alleged that he threatened violence if she did not comply, and she did not comply. She told him really to beat it.
Wow.
It's also alleged at this time that Roland's wife, Jewel Carmen, had accused Thelma of skimming profits off the top for herself.
See, she did have it in for her.
Yup. It's been said that Jewel told Thelma if she caught her ever skimming off the top again, that she would kill her.
But why does Thelma have to skim off the top?
She might have or she might not have. We don't know.
She's a famous movie star. This is like when Winona Ryder went to Saks and did all the shoplifting.
Exactly. So I agree with you. I think that maybe she did start to get insanely jealous and then started accusing her of stuff to get her out of the business.
But then if you look at the Winona example, it also could show that Thelma would just wanted another thrill.
Yeah.
Because the Roaring Twenties are over.
It's true.
And I need to get that feeling again.
It was also reported and confirmed that Thelma started receiving extortion letters and death threats from someone who proclaimed themselves to be the Ace of Hearts. They demanded it's a very weak,
yeah, that's terrible.
Scary name.
That's awful. You may have heard of me. I'm the Ace of Hearts.
Gay.
Well, gayer would be the Queen of Hearts.
Yeah.
He's like, hello.
Hello. They
pay me my money.
They demanded a ransom or else she would be killed.
Oh my God.
She got like 10 letters.
This is insane.
So this glamorous hotspot has some seedy things going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, but those are the fish that she's swimming with.
Much like everything else in Hollywood.
Yeah.
It literally is. She is attracted. It's a trope. It's like the girl who has it all together and she has everything likes to get with the dangerous guys.
Mm-hmm. They can't help it.
They love it. They really do. It's insane.
Women be shopping, and women be loving the dangerous guys that are no good for them. Come on, ladies.
Get it together, ladies. The nice guys are too boring for them. They need the thrill. They need, someone to get punched in the face. And sometimes it ends up being them.
Which is ironic because she comes from Massachusetts.
Right.
She could have found a local asshole
to smack her
who didn't have any power or money, at least. So then she'd be safer.
Yeah. So that, all brings us to Saturday, December 14th, 1935.
Oh, boy.
Thelma went out to a party at the Trocadero restaurant. She was driven by her chauffeur because she wasn't allowed to drive. It's been widely reported that Roland West told her to be back home by 2 a.m. at the latest. She told him, back off, I'll leave when I please, and I'll call you when I'm on the way. The party was put on by English comedian and director Stanley Lupino. It was to celebrate Thelma starring in one of their movies 3 years prior.
Ah, wait, why 3 years?
It was a celebration because they never really came to L.A. They were always
remember that thing we did 3 years ago?
We told you we'd have a party, and now we're having a party. 1,000 days later. Yeah, I thought that was a little weird, but it was their first time in town, and they wanted to show her a good time, so they invited a bunch of people. They all went out to dinner, had drinks. It was fun.
Yeah. And she's still in her 20s, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
29.
Really?
Yes. The Lupinos said that she had one cocktail before dinner, 2 glasses of champagne during dinner, and a brandy for dessert.
Wait, brandy?
Yeah.
That's not a dessert. That's just another drink.
Well, it's,
I mean, if it was like, brandy raisin pie, that's another story. But just another brandy, that's really not a dessert.
It's not an aperitif. It's called a digestif.
Okay.
It's to help you digest.
Yes, but it's not a dessert. It's a digestif.
A digestif is a French dessert drink.
No, but this is just brandy.
Cider brandy is a digestif.
What happened to the desserts? You
can have it both. I don't know what she ate.
Give me the fucking creme brulee over here. Like, maybe I'll have the brandy with it, but come on.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
That was her drink orders.
I didn't want the audience to be confused.
I don't think anyone was.
Brandy dessert.
She had Sid Grauman, who created the Chinese theater. As well as many other things in Hollywood.
Now known as the TLC.
Yes.
So the Grauman estate got off that train.
So Sid called Roland at 2:30 a.m. when she was supposed to be leaving. This, of course, like I told you, was 30 minutes after she was already supposed to be home.
Okay.
So he's pissed.
Right.
Very angry, jealous person.
Yes.
Her driver reported that nothing was said in the car. She was, totally fine in the backseat until she got home and she noticed that she was locked out of her apartment on top of the restaurant. And this was Roland being petty. He locked her out on purpose. So she went up to Roland's house at the top of the hill. So essentially, the way everything's mapped out is that the restaurant is at the bottom of the hill right on the highway. And then there's like a whole walkway that's like 63 steps to get up to his street. And then you bang a right on his street, and his is the last house on the left.
So by design, they lived right, a stone's throw, as they say, from each other.
It was incestuous. It was all right there. Business, pleasure, anger, domestic violence.
Maybe a little bit of love.
Maybe. So she goes up to his place, and the chauffeur was like, "Do you want me to walk you to the door?" And he said it was the first time in 3 years that he had been driving her around that she said no. She's like, "Roland's going to be mad. We're going to get into a fight, and I just don't want you to see it or get involved, so you can go."
Or be killed.
Yeah.
Could have been like a Ron Goldman type thing.
Exactly. That's what she was quoted as saying. This could be a Ron Goldman type thing.
Nobody knows what it means, but
you'll see. You'll all see. So that moves us to Sunday, December 15th, 1935. There's no reported activity from Thelma other than being dropped off at 3 or 4 in the morning.
That's the last anyone's seen her.
Yeah, he was the last person to see her alive, apparently. There was 2 reports that she was seen on this Sunday. Jewel Carmen, the jilted wife of Roland.
Right, who's sort of okay with their relationship, but not.
Yeah. She reports that she saw Thelma driving around with a tall, dark, dare I say, handsome / mysterious man on this day. There were also 2 workers at a Hollywood Christmas tree lot reported that they sold a tree to Thelma and a tall, dark man. So she was having another affair with this guy from San Francisco who was a businessman, an investor.
I thought you were going to say Rudolph Valentino.
Unnamed guy. He might be mob connected. We don't know. He's never been officially confirmed by name.
Huh.
But she was sleeping with this guy from San Francisco, so this might be him. We don't know.
Okay.
The 2 workers that were working at the Christmas tree lot that said that they definitely 100% sold them a tree recanted their statements after some men with guns showed up and told them to forget what they saw.
They walk into the police station wearing an arm brace and they have a black eye. We would love to recant our story.
Yeah, no teeth, birds flying around their head.
There's a red dot on their forehead.
I thought something else.
What Christmas tree? We don't even sell Christmas trees.
Yeah, we never see no Christmas trees. Other than these sightings, nobody else has been able to account for Thelma's Sunday. No confirmed sightings, and then they all recanted. And even later, Jewel Carmen said that Roland was just Thelma's friend. They never had a relationship.
That's what she said?
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
Who's going to believe that horse pucky?
That's applesauce. Thelma's personal housekeeper, May Whitehead, opened the garage to witness Thelma's body slumped over in the front seat of her 1933 Lincoln Phaeton.
Oh.
That's how they pronounce it. Lincoln Phaeton.
Okay.
She
a
was,
luxury car, I presume.
Yes. It was brown, but they called it chocolate. I think that's just rich people speak for brown. They don't want to say poo-poo. Caca-poo-poos.
Okay, so she was in a chocolate Lincoln.
Yes. Tragically dead at the age of 29.
Wow.
She called the police. They were there within minutes and quickly determined that she died 36 hours prior. Which means Saturday. Which means the people who saw her on Sunday were sadly mistaken. Or were they? Let's go over what we know for sure.
Okay. She's dead.
We know she was definitely found 10:30 a.m. on Monday the 16th by May Whitehead.
Yeah.
We know that she was in the front seat of her own car with the ignition turned on.
It was on?
Yes.
How was she dead, by the way? Like, what killed her? Oh, okay.
She had bruising around her neck, a split lip, a broken nose, and 2 broken ribs.
Oh, my God.
She had 70% saturation of carbon monoxide in her blood, as well as alcohol found in her system.
Huh.
The cause of death was accidental in nature, brought on by carbon monoxide poisoning.
Accidental? What about all those injuries?
We all know that carbon monoxide poisoning also grabs you by the throat and breaks your nose and ribs, okay?
Yeah. That doesn't even make sense.
We all know that. She was beaten half to death, but she did actually have carbon monoxide in her system, so the car was on.
Wait a minute. So what if you were already dead? Would it still be in your system even though you're not breathing?
That's a great question. I would say probably not. Because you have to breathe it in.
So then they left her for dead, and that finished the job.
Well, it's sounding to me, Alejandro, like you don't believe the official account.
Well, all right. Well, I believe that maybe the carbon monoxide finished the job, but if she was really the beating sounded like it contributed more.
It sounds to me like you think something or someone else may have gotten to her.
Yes, I do.
Are you making the case for murder?
I am.
Oh, okay.
I am.
Well, let's go over the 7 likely suspects then.
Okay.
Number 1, Thelma herself.
She beat herself up?
Hey, law enforcement's main theory is that she was locked out of her apartment, and since it was a cold December night, she didn't want to wake Roland because it was so late. So to stay warm, she went to the garage. She started her car to keep warm, where after drinking, she had passed out and died in her sleep. Tragic mistake.
Okay, but at what point did she beat herself up?
Well, they don't really account for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's also another theory. People in law enforcement thought she just killed herself on purpose. According to some in law enforcement, she was just another Hollywood star that offed themselves.
And it wasn't happening at that rapid a rate, was it?
They claimed that she had beat herself up and actually committed suicide, knowing she would die from the monoxide, but also leaving enough injuries to point the finger at these men who have physically assaulted her in the past.
Huh.
I believe these to be the least likely.
Yeah. Who would do that?
Possibly Thelma's mother.
What would be her motive?
We didn't talk about her too much. We alluded to some things, but it's been said that Thelma's mother was extremely influential in Thelma's push to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Thelma's
mother was?
Yeah.
No, I thought it was the dad.
No, it was the mom. I told you.
No, but you said that the dad used his political cachet to get her noticed.
To be able to get her the audition.
Yeah, but that was the most important thing that was her springboard to Hollywood. So what the mom did was feed her drugs, Kyle.
Feed her drugs.
That's not the same thing. I'm sorry.
And keep pushing her towards the Hollywood sign.
Yeah, but I would say that the dad did more for that.
Ooh.
Wouldn't you say?
It was her mother's wish for her to be in show business, apparently.
But you said that she wasn't even a momager. She didn't even have that much interest.
No, she was behind the scenes like, ooh.
I know she was a taker.
Yes.
I'll give it to the momagers. At least they're
working for something.
Yeah, they put a little work in, you know? All right, fine. It sounds to me like the dad was more instrumental in her success, even though the mom may have wanted it more.
Well, Thelma had no aspirations for celebrity or the movie business. It was her mother's want.
Oh, yeah. So then, her dad's just little political leanings that got her this big audition. Yeah, that was just nothing. Okay.
Well, let's say this.
Sounds good.
It was reported that days before Thelma's death, she was bragging about having a mansion built for her.
The mom?
Yes.
Okay. And Thelma doesn't even have the mansion. She's living above a nightclub.
Exactly. So people were asking, how are you going to pay for that? And she said, don't worry about it. And within days, her daughter's dead.
All right. So what's the theory? The mom paid someone? So
the mom had her offed so that she could get the money.
Oh, so because she's the next of kin.
Yes. She would get everything.
Oh, no.
But that could just be nosy people asking, how are you going to pay for this? And it could be a justified, normal, mind your business response.
Huh.
So I don't think that's really as likely.
That would be
possible.
But not outside the realm of possibility.
It's not impossible.
There are some parents that have done pretty fucked up things.
Yeah. And there's some kids that have done fucked up things to their parents.
Of course. Yeah.
And it goes without saying, Roland West, the man who expected her to be at 2 a.m. the night she was killed, was already mad that she was late and out without him. Thelma was found in his garage attached to his house. Could it be that she got a bit too lippy and he finally snapped?
And she got hit by a fist that was attached to his arm.
Yeah.
And what suspect is this, number 4?
This is number 3.
Number 3.
We have Thelma's mother, and Roland.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Roland so far, that sounds like the most plausible.
Yeah.
Right?
It's possible that they got into a fight when the driver took off. He realized what he had done, and he threw her in the garage with the car on, knowing she wouldn't be able to survive the fumes.
And he wasn't worried that she was all beaten up.
You know, might not be the smartest guy. We don't know.
But it sounded like that was overlooked.
It was.
Yeah. And I bet they were paid off.
It could be.
For sure. By the way, is the driver one of the suspects?
Actually not.
Okay.
The driver has everything to lose. He's not getting paid if she dies. So this is what you got to do when we're trying to think about these nefarious characters and who could do what, is finding out the risk to reward ratio.
And also, I was just thinking when you said the maid found her, how many maids in Los Angeles
Adios mio!
have found dead bodies through the years? Like, that's not part of the contract.
Yeah. The next on our list is Jewel Carmen, the jilted lover. Well, the jilted wife.
Right. Yeah,
she's not the lover.
Right.
She's the hater.
She's the real wife, you know. She's up on the tier, you know.
Yeah. On paper, Roland's wife had every reason to want Thelma dead. She was sleeping with her husband and had supposedly been stealing money at the restaurant. But would she beat her to a pulp and throw her in the garage?
Absolutely not.
Maybe.
Did you see a picture of her?
Yeah, she wasn't really a big woman.
So how would that be possible?
You know?
And then wouldn't she have injuries too? Because I'm sure it would have turned into a...
Yes.
I'm not going to say cat fight. I'm going to say fight.
Fight. Next on our list is Zazu Pitts. We haven't talked about her, but she was...
I was going to say, who the fuck is Zazu Pitts?
She was another leading lady of comedy.
I bet. Yeah, you got hot Toddy over here. Hey, Toddy, I want you to meet Zazu Pitts.
And she's got hairy armpits. Why do they call you Pitts? No reason. Well, Zazu, she was reportedly annoyed that Thelma hadn't yet paid her back for the loan that she gave her to start the roadside cafe. So she had investors that she was taking money from and not immediately paying back.
I just wonder why she needs the investors. Isn't she making a lot of dough?
She is.
At the studio?
She is, but then again, it's like, why not have a little bit extra? Some people think like that.
Well, you got to pay them back then.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so Zazu... All right, but then how will Zazu get paid then if she murders her?
Well, she doesn't expect to be paid anymore, but at least the person is not living off the money that she gave her.
No, I don't buy that.
Okay. Then next we got up Pat DeChico.
Okay. Yeah, so Pat DeChico is like the third wheel of this romance between Thelma and Roland.
Yeah, I mean, he's the only husband. He's the abusive ex-husband that...
That's right. Okay, so I forget
He's
her.
the first wheel.
Yeah, I know. No, but then becomes the third wheel.
Yeah.
Sort of. Although it sounds like he left.
Yeah.
Was out of the picture, as they say.
He was out of the picture, but he was back in the picture the night she was killed.
Wow.
Her abusive ex-husband...
He was the chauffeur. Like he takes off the sunglasses. Remember me, Toddy?
He saw and had a conversation with Thelma at the Trocadero restaurant the last night she was ever seen alive.
No.
Yes.
What are the odds of that?
He was reportedly there for another party, but wanted Thelma to see him so bad with another woman. He wanted to rub it in her face that he had someone else and she was there alone.
Yeah.
So he still had some sort of bone to pick with her.
Right.
And had, bad feelings against to be like, I want to rub this in your face. So he's my most likely suspect so far. Him and Roland.
Shut the French window.
Yes.
You think he?
Yeah.
He hasn't thought about her in years and he runs into her.
All he's been doing is thinking about her. He's got another woman being like, I want you to see that I have this.
Well, who wouldn't though? I mean, that's just natural with exes, isn't that?
I guess. I don't know.
I mean, yeah. That's half of Instagram. Thirst traps to make people jealous.
Well, that's true.
I'd like you to meet my new girlfriend, Violetta. She's got like gigantic,
huge tits.
Basangas.
Where's her head? She has a head? Next on the list, Lucky Luciano.
Ooh, yeah. I remember him.
Yeah, no good guy. As stated, Lucky wanted in at her restaurant so bad.
Mm-hmm.
She adamantly told him no. He wasn't someone that was used to hearing the word no.
Mm-mm.
Would it be above a gangster to beat and kill a woman for not doing exactly what he wants?
I would think not.
I don't think it's above a gangster to beat and kill a woman for not doing what they want, especially when it involves a ton of money. Let's think about this for a second. Gangsters at that level, they aren't the ones to make mistakes like leaving clues behind, such as a broken nose, strangulation marks, and cracked ribs, just so they can pretend that it was the carbon monoxide all along.
Right, right. Yeah, that's what they say about like the Menendez brothers. Remember that theory didn't work that they tried to push forward because the mobster would not leave such a gruesome scene.
Exactly.
It would have been more like just a bullet to the back of the head.
Yeah,
done,
quick, tap,
clean.
tap, see you later.
Yep.
Yeah. This was clearly someone who wanted to do damage to this person.
Right. And usually, I mean, let's be real, there has to be some better motivation than that to kill someone, even in the mob world.
Right.
Like someone's in your way of making money.
Well, I mean, she was. He wanted in. He saw how easy the money was to be made.
Yeah, but it's not going to solve anything to kill her.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like, or unless he thinks, fine, I'll give you this. Unless he thinks someone else now will be in charge of that place and now he can get in.
It might be easier to intimidate Roland.
Okay. Actually, there we go. That is motive.
What about the Ace of Hearts? The death threats, extortion letters from the Ace of Hearts. It was just a matter of weeks before her death, and she was being told if she didn't give them $10,000, they would kill her. But as it turns out, the letters were actually traced back to a crazed fan on the East Coast. And as soon as they were arrested and jailed, the letters stopped.
Real name, the Two of Clubs.
So there's a slew of people who could have had the means and the motive to want her dead, which is why this case is so confounding.
Yeah.
It's always been labeled as unsolved. But if I'm to believe a story I found online by some guys who claim to have investigated the hell out of this story, I believe once and for all, we can close the book on this case as solved.
All right. I got to hear this.
Okay. So this is from a writer, Marvin J. Wolfe, who sought to find out exactly what happened to Thelma. And so this is from his own blog. He writes, over the years, scores of articles and books have been written hypothesizing what really happened to Thelma Todd that night in 1935. Dark strangers, suicide, her jealous boyfriend, mob connections, all have been pointed to at one time or another for her death. But despite more than 5 decades of speculation and hype, the final chapter of Thelma Todd's mysterious death has remained unwritten. Until now. What follows for the first time is the true story of what happened that night and why Hollywood conspired to keep it a secret for half a century.
Hollywood, the whole town,
yes,
knew when they buried this.
People she knew and loved knew what
really
happened. Yes.
Okay.
As it turned out, some in the police department knew very well who killed Thelma Todd, as well as the how and the why. They kept their silence but closed the file only when the killer died in 1951.
Wow.
Still, the real story could not be told. A handful of powerful Hollywood insiders with long memories and wide connections maintained a conspiracy silence.
Which explains why they ignored the bruises.
Yeah. Even after the architect of the conspiracy died, associates continued to suppress the story. Over the years, whenever a film studio expressed an interest in the mystery of Todd's death, someone always intervened and the idea was quietly dropped. Marvin says that he was recommended to some low-profile industry insiders to kind of get the real scoop. For the most part, he says they either ducked their questions or referred them to cryptically still other people, most who turned out to be long deceased. Even so, the one name that kept coming up again and again was Hal Roach.
Wow.
We were somewhat surprised.
Who wasn't even a suspect.
Nope. We were somehow surprised to find that at 90, the legendary comedy producer was very much still alive. However, when we finally got a hold of him on the phone, he was kind of flaky.
Playing the old man card.
He was accommodating yet evasive. First, he was ill with a virus. Then a few weeks later, he was too busy. Then he was going out of town.
Then he was 90.
Then he was dead. No, finally, he did agree to allow them into his home to talk about Thelma Todd, who he said he remembered fondly. So from Hal's own words, via Marvin.
Okay. From Plouffe to Marvin to Hal.
Exactly, to your ear holes. Marvin writes, when we were at last seated in his den, surrounded by an impossible number of film celebrity photographs and other mementos documenting a career that began in 1912, Roach skipped the preamble and went straight to the point. On December 17th, 1935, the day after Todd's body was found, 3 Los Angeles County Sheriff's detectives came to Roach's studio office. The deputies told Roach that Roland West, under intense questioning, had confessed to killing Thelma Todd. West was very possessive, very controlling, said Roach. He told Thelma that she was to be back by 2 a.m. She said she'd come and go as she pleased. They had a little argument about it, and then Thelma left for the party. Roland, while she was gone, went into her apartment and locked her out. He was going to teach her a lesson. And he said, apparently when Todd returned at almost 4 a.m., so Thelma came back at 4 when she was supposed to be back at 2.
Which isn't even really that much of a difference.
Yeah. She declined her chauffeur's offer to walk her upstairs because she knew there would be a scene.
Mm-hmm.
When she went back up to Roland's place, she shouted at him through the door, and they had another argument screaming from both sides of the door. Roland told her he did not want her going to so many parties. Todd, still a bit drunk, screamed that she'd go to any party she pleased.
That's right.
She's like, I got another party that I'm going to go to today, and in fact, I'll just go right now. According to Roach, she climbed the steps to the garage, and Roland followed her. When he got to the garage, she was already in the car. She started the engine, and he ran around and locked the garage door. He wasn't thinking about carbon monoxide, just teaching her a lesson about who's the boss. So he just left her there and went to bed.
Mm-hmm.
After daylight, Wes returned to the garage to find her dead, and he didn't know what to do.
What did he expect would happen?
So he did nothing. He closed the door but didn't lock it, so nobody would know that she was actually locked in there before. He went back to the cafe. All that day, people called for Thelma, asking where she was. They needed to talk to her. He said he had no idea where she was. But this is Hal Roach's point. If he really hadn't known where she was, he would have been calling the entire city to trying to find her. That's the kind of man he was. He was super jealous. So
No, but wouldn't he have also known that she could have still been in the garage because that's where he locked her in?
But nobody knows that.
Yeah.
He doesn't want people to know that.
Oh, so
he's acting like, I didn't see her. I don't know where she is.
He's saying that he's lying here, yeah.
Yeah, but yes. He's telling people, I don't know where she was. I haven't seen her. But Thelma who? But if he actually didn't know where she was, then he'd be jealous, calling everybody.
Of course.
Marvin says that he listened in barely suppressed excitement. Besides naming the killer, Roach was openly admitting he had played a role in the cover-up. And Hal told them, I told them I thought they should forget about it.
What?
He wouldn't have gone to jail anyway. He'd have the best lawyers. He'd deny everything in court, and there were no witnesses. So why cause him all that trouble?
What does he care about him? Really?
That's the biggest thing, and that's the first thing to think about. And this is what Marvin even says. He says the first issue to consider was why Roach should have protected the man who killed his $3,000 a week star.
Mm-hmm.
One reason was that implicating West would have meant exposing Todd's adulterous affair. That could have meant a scandal like the Fatty Arbuckle affair some years earlier.
Fatty Arbuckle coming in 2025 on Dipod.
Surely at the price of heavy box office losses for his studio.
Yeah, heavy for Fatty Arbuckle for sure.
Fat Fatty Arbuckle, who of course raped and murdered an actress.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, just prior to all this.
That sent shockwaves through Hollywood.
Yeah.
That case.
Yeah, and
I do give him that because everyone was afraid that could happen again. So that really made everyone clam up.
Yeah. Fatty Arbuckle, who was immensely famous and super successful
and super profitable for the studios,
making money for people hand over fist.
That would be like if Timothy Chalamet
suddenly gained 300 pounds,
arrested and for like a heinous crime.
Was a rapist.
Well, no, I didn't say that.
And murderer. And he killed like Jennifer Lawrence. Like, what the fuck is going on? It's huge news. The hell?
He murders Saweetie for some reason. And it destroys Hollywood.
It crumbles from the inside.
No, but it really was like it almost destroyed. Because Hollywood doesn't need that. It's a blossoming industry at that time.
Right. That's so what said. We don't need this.
So that's why it's not right.
Yeah.
It's not noble.
It's not left.
But it's definitely something that was on everyone's mind. So I could see Hal Roach being, crazed with that idea that it could destroy the studio potentially.
And ruin his life.
Exactly.
Financially and, everything else. Fatty Arbuckle had all of his movies banned from every theater across the country and caused studios to lose more money than they would have liked to, which is any money.
Right.
Hal ultimately decided he could selfishly use her death as a way to make more money off the tragedy and paint her as a bright light extinguished too early.
Well, I mean, that's kind of nice, I guess.
Instead of an adulterous starlet thirsty for fame.
But we need to avenge her death.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. But he didn't want her, name being smeared.
Right. Oh, come on.
Which
this
would
is
smear
not
the
about
movies and smear the profits.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it's not about her.
No, not at all.
How dare you?
It's for him,
Kyle.
I said he used her death selfishly. And I believe that is the real story. It makes so much sense.
Right.
Like they got into a fight. Roland beat her up a little bit.
Okay, so that explains the bruises.
Yes.
Because in the
he definitely beat her.
I know, because in the version you were just saying via Hal.
Yeah.
It skipped the part where he beat her up.
Yeah. Yeah, he said it was an argument. And apparently that's just implied. But this, combined with the fact that Roland West's friend, actor Chester Morris, said...
Does anyone have like a non-Prohibition era name?
Chester Morris!
I'd like you to meet Spencer McGee.
Yeah. Chester Morris claims that Roland had a deathbed confession. And
he died in 1951.
Yes. Chester says that Roland told him that he had a spat with Thelma and he was annoyed with her affairs and her drinking.
Affairs? He's having an affair with her.
Yeah, exactly. It's very hypocritical. He said that she threatened to go to another man's house to spend the night that night just to get away from him. So he's like, hell no, let me give you the business.
Yeah.
So he gave her the business and he claims that she was getting into her car and leaving. And so he just locked her in there to make her think about her decision.
Oh, okay. What a fucking, come on.
He didn't realize that she would turn the car on. So according to him,
an idiot.
She hadn't even turned the car on yet.
Because you don't lock someone in the garage with the car running.
No.
I guess I don't know how cold it was. It was
a December night on the ocean.
That is pretty chilly.
Yeah.
So at the very least, it's not very nice.
No, she probably would have.
There's no good outcome from that, I don't think.
No, you could have probably succumbed to some bad things just being in there.
That's such a horrible, wow.
Yeah. So that brings us to
final thoughts.
I think we're going to take Roland West at his word and Chester Morris at his word and Hal Roach at his word. I almost said Hal Sparks.
Here's a big shocker.
Yeah.
Suspect number 9, Hal Sparks from Queer as Folk.
You got to take them at their word, and these are the people who were involved. So it totally makes sense that Roland could have been in that situation. It makes sense that that's why she would have been in there. It makes sense that he found her before and knew, and that's why he unlocked the door after previously admitting to locking it. And then it makes sense that Hal Roach didn't want to give up the money he was getting. Not only that, the money he could make off of her memory, which is usually a ton of money. So I think we're just going to take these people at their word and just label it solved. Roland did it, and Hal helped.
So these deathbed confessions were very powerful in this case.
Yeah.
Because Hal Roach was, pushing 91. And he felt like saying the truth, I guess.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't make him look good.
No, it doesn't at all.
So one wonders why he would spill the beans.
Just to get something off your chest. Sometimes it feels cleansing.
Jesus, yeah. And back in the day, ironically, it probably felt good to get certain things off his chest at some of those debaucherous parties.
Yeah.
With hot toddy. Yeah, okay. I think I agree with you.
Yeah.
My only lingering question is, was she conscious after the beatdown?
I think she was alive but not conscious.
Okay, yeah, because that explains then why she
had the or the monoxide level in her body. Yeah,
but wait a minute. Oh, alive but not conscious, so she would have been breathing. Correct.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
God, so that makes no sense then. Even in his confession, in Roland's confession,
what makes no sense?
He obviously murdered her on purpose.
Yeah,
because he left her unconscious.
Yeah, I think he freaked
in a running
out,
car,
and he didn't know what to do, and he was dumb enough. That's why leaving behind all those marks and broken bones. It was a desperate man's I don't know what to do, and just ran away. And then his power allowed him to get away with it.
What a pathetic human being who died way too late, in my opinion.
Because he confessed to the police. And the police went to the studios saying, what should we do about this guy?
This shit list is
ever growing.
Well, because you have to have the police officers.
Yeah, the LAPD's back on the shit list for maybe the 10th time, I guess.
Yeah. And we know that they, don't want you to actually figure out some of these mysterious crimes.
Of course not.
Remember when we tried to get information on William Shatner?
Yes.
We were shut down.
Freedom of information request, and they responded to us saying that they could not provide it because it's sensitive data.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, this is just mind-boggling. It's so sad,
Very sad. She was 29.
Nobody deserves that, and she seemed like she was a lot of fun. Obviously,
yeah, too much fun.
And oh my Lord,
yeah,
forever preserved, right on the silver screen.
Yep.
In this, golden age of, cinema,
yep. And she's preserved by having a Hollywood Star of Fame at Hollywood and Vine.
Right.
So,
yeah, I mean, she's one of the big names of early Hollywood, but gone way too soon. And how pathetic this fucking Roland guy. Fuck him.
And he was the one trying to get her away from comedy. He wanted her in dramas and.
Oh, please.
Hal Roach was better for her, but then he also selfishly used the situation to his advantage.
This is it's one of the more pathetic stories, right?
Yeah.
Up there with, the guy that locked Dominique Dunn out of her house.
Oh, that guy fucking.
It's
Pac-Man.
Probably tied with that guy.
Or David Packer.
Yeah, David Packer. Yeah. Pac-Man is that YouTuber.
Oh, yeah.
But I would say it's a tie, David Packer and this Roland West.
Pretty cowardly.
Ugh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, R.I.P. Thelma Todd and everybody, including you, Kyle. Go and watch Horse Feathers.
I will.
It's a gas.
You've got mail.
Oh, we got a mailbag.
Really?
Can you believe it? Yes.
The mailbag is ever growing.
Coming internationally again from Canada, where Thelma Todd's mom came from. So they're sending it on back again. 5 stars on iTunes saying, simply the best true crime comedy podcast. They said, I came to you for Ben and discovered a treasure. Thank you, Sadie May 66.
Wow.
Humor and knowledge. This is from Kayleen from the United States of America. 5 stars. She said, this is one of my favorite podcasts. I always look forward to new episodes. The hosts are so funny and it's well researched. Please keep up the great work.
Wow. Thank you.
Then there's another one that just sounds weird to me. It's from Elise Smith from Australia. saying, is Matt Rife on this podcast? He said, I've tried to search if Matt Rife is on this podcast. Sounds like him 100%. Yeah, I like the Power Rangers episode. Pretty funny. A good dose of nostalgia. Very interesting. Matt Rife wasn't even born when Power Rangers came out.
Yeah, I don't understand.
I don't know if they think it's me or you. I have no idea.
It's got to be you. And why not say it looks like Matt Rife is on the podcast?
Oh, God.
It's not our looks that we're like Matt Rife.
Haven't had enough work done on my face.
It's the voice. Matt Rife. What was the other one? There was one that, someone said, someone sounds like Jonathan Brandis on this episode.
Oh, yeah.
Who was that?
I don't know.
I can't figure this out. And then I've gotten some voice ones lately.
Everyone loves your voice lately.
I guess. What was that latest one you just sent me?
I said, Alejandro's voice sounds so familiar. I'm lucky I like it, or something like that.
Yeah. That is funny. I'm glad you like it.
Oh, yeah. It says, Alejandro's voice sounds so familiar. Luckily, I enjoy listening to it.
Oh, and who said that?
Thank you, Grand Turtle 2786.
Okay. Well, you're just stuck with our voices.
That's it.
Who will we sound like this week, I wonder?
Yeah.
We're about to find out if people write in. deathandentertainment@gmail.com.
Yes. YouTube, iTunes,
Spotify. Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
Hey, go listen to the Robert Durst episode. Yeah, you know where to find us. Go to our patreon.com/deathandentertainment. You'll see a new episode that was just released last week about
Henry Winkler.
Henry Winkler button his nose, his Fonzified nose right into Heather O'Rourke's death. And it's a doozy.
Yeah, he had quite an opinion on it.
Yeah.
So we go into that on the latest Patreon episode.
Yes, go have some fun there. It's $5 or $10 a month if you want to join us. If not, no big deal. It helps to keep the lights on around here.
Yeah, and we're so appreciative of just, you listening.
Exactly.
That's a big step right there.
Yes.
Your ears are open.
Ooh, yeah.
We appreciate you and we love you.
Keep your ear holes open, baby.
And I want to say that in 2025... you can join us on the walking tour.
Yes.
In Hollywood.
Get some steps in.
Yeah, 3,000 steps.
Learn some things.
3,000 steps. How's that?
Give us an hour of your time. We'll show you around where, a lot of people died.
Yeah, it's going to be, as I said earlier, a gas.
A gas, yes. And with that said, until next time.
Don't go dying on us.
Bye-bye.
You have just heard
a true Hollywood murder mystery.
I have never seen anything like this before.
The movies, Broadway, music, television, all of it.
A place that manufactures nightmares.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap.
Good night. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon.